Well, after a full 3 maps, 2 overtimes, 30 rounds when there wasn't an overtime, we did manage to crown a winner of our first best of 3 of our second day here of the European Minor. 4 teams have already been sliced out of the competition, and now still 4 do stand. Epsilon thrust to the lower bracket by their Swedish rivals Godsent after an absolute slog. Holding a 13-2 lead and having it taken away from them by Flusher and co. certainly is a bitter pill to swallow, but now we have a rather sweet surprise for you coming into the second, as it is going to be Hellraisers and Space Soldiers. Talking of sweet, I've got 2 cutie pies joining me. It's none other than Natu and Vendetta. Gentlemen, map 2, or rather game 2 of the day. This one, do you think we could have as close of a game? Do you think we're going to be here until 1 AM or what?
I mean, it is a PGL event. I wouldn't be surprised. They have a tendency to have a lot of overtimes.
Yeah. It's written in the stars.
It is. But and to be fair, these two, I would, well, coming into the day, I would expect this to be the game where we'd see the closest match, not Epsilon versus Godsent. So taken a bit by surprise by how close it ended up being in the first game, and I don't really expect it to be too different in this one. It
is going to be close, and indeed it wasn't particularly difficult for Space Soldiers to get to where they are now. It was the Turkish side Space Soldiers who glided through the upper bracket, 2 best-of-1 wins to get them where they stand. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the Turks in just a moment. While we do rock out to that intro music, Space Soldiers have made their way onto stage. They're going to be warming up right now, and indeed, we're expecting big things from this squad. A team that have already impressed and have continued a slow and gradual incline in performance. However, I'd like us to once again remind everyone that these guys have just relentlessly been climbing up the CSGO ladder.
Yeah, just and it hasn't been like a quick progress where you all of a sudden see a team come out of nowhere. This has been a long slog for them, you know, spanning back to over 2 years pretty much with the core of this lineup. Yeah, they're finally getting, you know, some return for their investment of time in many ways. Starting off by winning Aces ROG back in August, and obviously doing pretty well for themselves at ESWC. It didn't end up getting in the finals or anything, but they made it to a semifinals, which is definitely not bad.
Yeah, LDLC took them out, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was
either Attax or no, it was LDLC.
Yeah. I mean, they also. I mean, I think earlier when we were doing Copenhagen Games, I think they got the semifinals in that tournament. They upset SK. Danish SK at the time with the Freeze, Pimp, those guys. So yeah, slowly but surely they've been becoming a name that everyone should be taken seriously. And it's before we talk about Santaras, and now they have Paz, they have Despi. That I think that trio really has become something that you gotta really respect.
So is it an increase in mechanical skill? Are we genuinely seeing them play better as individuals, or is it more of just
it's both
time and a cohesive unit? It's both.
It's both. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, Tuguk's kind of getting everybody on the same page, and how they want to play the game is obviously going to help out. But yeah, Santaras is still holding the same high level that he has always done, really, while playing in Space Soldiers. But just mechanically, the players like Paz and Desp have gotten more consistent, which is massive.
What it means basically is that they can grind rounds where they're in a disadvantage. I think recently I spoke about this about Dignitas at the Epic Center tournament. You know, they were the kind of team that finally could win those rounds that they were in a disadvantage in, but against obviously higher tier opponents. Now, obviously, Space Soldiers not up anywhere near yet, but in this kind of competition, they can definitely do that.
And that's what's so intriguing as well, isn't it? The fact that we have got this Space Soldiers roster, but that had already kind of had to work hard. I'm thinking of that alternate attacks game primarily, where you guys outlined more negativity surrounding Space Soldiers despite the win than there was positivity. It hasn't always it hasn't been a sterling clean record from them.
Was that T side was
flawed.
It was horrible.
Okay, horrible. Wow.
Okay, it wasn't horrible. It was just there was basically like the big issue I saw there was the fact that they had the ideas, but their execution was lackluster. Like the timing of how things worked out wasn't going their way at all.
Right.
What the whole goal is when you do a big execute on Cobblestone, for example, is to try to pressure the CGs and put them in a situation where they have to cover multiple angles, so that it becomes kind of a chaos for them, and they just weren't able to do that off the fact that they didn't manage to get the opening kills when they were trying to get to the bomb site.
Yeah, I think you could say they had the initial idea of what they wanted to do, but they didn't have the backup plan readily available, because we saw time and time after again attacks just disrupting their setups whenever they wanted to go for an execution. And I think Tugux even mentioned that in an interview after the game. Their default didn't work. And obviously you're going to have issues if your go-to setup is not really working.
Right. So you kind of need to have like a default A, B, and C maybe.
Yeah. Well, you always tell us about this, don't you, Natu? Every desk I share with you, you remind us that you have to have that A, B, C, D. You have to have these fallback plans to your default strategy. Otherwise, you fall into a rut.
And it depends on the individuals too. I mean, some individuals can do that without having a specific game plan, but especially less experienced individuals need to have plans that are specifically planned out prior to the actual game.
It's happening everywhere. It's not just Brazil.
They keep running in front of the cameras.
It just follows you. That's what it is.
It's all me. Okay, well, we'll stop talking about me and we'll instead talk about the opponents going up against Space Soldiers. Let's go ahead and meet Hellraisers, as they're going to be on stream, or at least on the PGL stream for the first time today. They gave the Razors of Hell a little extra smoke there in their video, of course, relevant to the name, looking very, very menacing with their clenched fists, but also a team that have had to work hard. Actually, we saw them sweat. I saw you standing behind the Ents boys as Hellraisers did battle with them yesterday. And that was that a full 3 maps, or was it done in 2?
The best of 3 was done in 2.
Yeah.
Ents beat Hellraisers in the initial game in the best of 1, 16-14, in a game where I felt like Ents should have actually closed it out earlier. They did a bunch of mistakes, playing on cash, but eventually did it. But yeah, I mean, still Hellraisers was the better team coming into that best of 3, definitely.
And I feel like we should probably acknowledge that Hellraisers, in terms of track record, in terms of past results, in terms of what we saw perhaps in Moscow, are a team that should not be trifled with and would probably be put alongside Godsent as one of the higher tier names at this tournament.
Yeah, well, for me, going into this tournament, I had them as favorites over Godsent, actually, to actually qualify. I would have expected Godsent and Hellraisers to be the two clear names to get those 2 spots for the offline qualifier, simply put. They have had a bit of a rough patch so far in the group stages, and I think Angel also alluded to that, saying, they kind of need to get their stuff together. Yeah.
Come on.
Keep it at PG-13. No, but they really needed to get a hold of things before they went into the bracket stages, because sure, it's a best of 3, so in that sense you have room to make mistakes, but obviously the further you go in the tournament, the harder team you're going to play.
And you can see him there on screen talking through everything. In-game leader Angel. This is an intriguing name whenever we discuss it. Style of play.
I mean, he was a leader of a Virtus Pro lineup that was the first one to beat NIP on LAN when NIP had that 87-0 streak back in 2014 or 13.
13.
The years flash past. I don't remember what year it is now.
It's funny. It's funny the way you're delivering that is like, this is Angel. So he was the first guy who did X.
Yeah, but he's been around the block for a very, very long time in 1.6 as well. He was a very individually skilled player too at a point, and now actually we've seen him increase his level individually dramatically. So that's a very positive sign for Hellraisers.
We did see that actually in Moscow, didn't we? We saw a great performance from him.
He's very aggressive. Like, he's relentless with his aggression. Sometimes even to a point where you think, this makes absolutely no sense. Almost at JW levels.
I feel like that's the most common thought I get when I see Angel play, really.
This makes no sense. And yet we're standing here saying his team should be hot favourites for the major qualifier spot. That is, of course, what they're battling for if you're unfamiliar with the minor system. Some teams even had to qualify to get here. Space Soldiers were not necessarily one of them, but they had to get to this spot to then qualify for the qualifier. That's the beauty of the major system. And now, with the best of 3 on the cards, we have to start talking maps. How does this one go down? Now, I saw you guys talking it through, and you said it was very clear that there was a certain set of maps that were not going to be seen. And does this read us accordingly? It looks like that Nuke is going to be coming out for the first time.
Yeah, and that's simply because Hellraisers have a bit of an advantage because neither of these teams really play Overpass.
Okay.
And with Hellraisers having the first ban, they can ban out Dust 2 and pretty much force the hand of Space Soldiers to either go with, they could chance it and go with Nuke, but and remove Nuke, which in a sense would make sense because Hellraisers have shown many times that they're willing to play it.
Yeah.
But they just don't want to deal with Overpass at all. So, that's, a leg up for Hellraisers in that scenario. So Hellraisers going instantly to Nuke makes complete sense on their end. Space Soldiers picking up Cobblestone, it's a very strong map for them, or it can be. We've seen that they have a solid CT side. They did have issues on the T side, and especially against Aggression, which is going to be interesting to see how it plays out versus Angel. And it's also like a decent map for Hellraisers that they've shown that they can definitely compete on. So it's a bit of a interesting pick from Space Soldiers in that regard, that they actually pick into something that Hellraisers are fairly comfortable on.
And we have also seen Space Soldiers play it 3 times now.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think the big problem in this matchup really is the map pool, because Hellraisers is comfortable on all 3 maps that are going to be played here.
It's true.
Well, to be fair, though, in Space Soldiers' defense, they are the same.
Yeah,
they don't shy away from Mirage either. Well, I guess barring Nuke, barring Nuke, Cobblestone and Mirage are comfortable maps for them. Obviously, otherwise they would have removed Mirage instead of Cash, which I think would have been a okay choice for them as well. But I think the Hellraisers would be a better Cash team than they are a Mirage team.
However, while we have them on screen, it's Jonta, right, the coach of Hellraisers. You saw him there in the huddle. What's the story behind that name? I know that you're more familiar with him than perhaps the guys at home.
Yeah, well, Jonta pretty much, just straight off the bat, hasn't played CSGO. And as a player, as a player, he started out as a manager for Flipside, and pretty much from there on out in CSGO, he's jumped between Hellraisers, Flipside, Hellraisers, Flipside, Hellraisers, Flipside, as a coach. Yeah. It seems like him and LMBT, for the better part, just kind of like swapped around with teams a lot of the time.
Swap notebooks and
exactly. I think he played for like A Gaming and those guys.
He played for DTS back in 1.6, and Hellraisers actually in 2010. So he does have pedigree as a player, but obviously it's a bit removed from that time. But he still understands the game of Counter-Strike, and it's very evident that whenever he gets into a team, at least at the start, they have a bit of a honeymoon period where they actually show more structure, and that's happened every single time he's actually been in contact with Angel. The fact that they do kind of just hunker down.
If there's one thing we critique Hellraisers with, it is their T-sides, though. They are one-dimensional still. It's very much just almost what we just saw from Godsend, just on a map like Cash. You grain out towards that A-bomb site. You try to go for an opening. You just put the usual smokes. You go in afterwards, or straight out B plow. So, I mean, still a lot of work to do there.
Yeah.
What's to be done?
I would still say I'm more impressed by Hellraiser's T-sides than Godsend's.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't think that really is so much of a metric.
Not a high bar, but
Okay, so there does seem like there's criticism for both of these teams, and that's the reason they're here at the minor, to demonstrate their worth and what the value they can provide for the series. But I do want to know if that veto has swayed you and has it influenced your predictions. Let's start talking about where you see this one going, boys. The full best of 3, Hellraisers and Space Soldiers.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing 3 maps.
You are?
Okay. I think,
Space Soldiers take Cobble
have played, Space Soldiers have played Nuke, but not necessarily against a team like Hellraisers, so I think that's going to go the way of Hellraisers, but I think coming into Cobblestone, Hellraisers on their CT sides have been extremely static to the point where every team that's going up against Hellraisers should know how they play. So barring some drastic changes in how they actually have their CT sides set up, I think Space Soldiers should be able to actually take advantage of that. And the fact that towards that B plateau and that B site, Hellraisers don't necessarily play too aggressively, so they're not going to be that much in the face
unless
of Space
you're
Soldiers.
and you're in the
no, he's going to be in the corner, but he's not going to necessarily be as much of a nuisance as, let's say, Kiev jumping on top of boxes, peeking over smokes, and so on. So Space Soldiers are going to get that tiny bit of space to actually set up for executes a lot of the time, I think.
Tiny bit of space. Well, they are soldiers of it. Natu?
Yeah, I think Nuke is definitely going to go the way of Hellraisers. First of all, it is a map that you kind of need to play it a lot because the rotation, we talk City side, but still rotations are really hard to get spot on if you haven't played the map too much. Let alone T side, like that's a totally different beast, right? So that's definitely going the way of Hellraisers. I agree. Cobblestone has a possibility of going the way of Space Soldiers for sure. I wasn't too impressed by Hellraisers either. Yesterday I was watching them play Ents on Cobblestone in that best of 3, and they did give a lot of room for Ents as well, just getting down into drop, getting on the plat, getting to execute. So there was a lot of opportunities for Ents as well to win rounds, just getting to the bomb sites. So I think Space Soldiers are going to take the second map, but then on the stretch. That's when it becomes hard. Yeah, but I do think that eventually just the experience is going to come and kick in, and it's going to be Hellraiser are going to pick up Mirage. So 3 mapper, but HR.
2 for Hellraisers?
No.
You have the Space Soldiers.
Yeah, Space Soldiers, I think they're going to take Mirage as well. So Hellraiser's going to get off to a good start, and then it's going to be Turkish delight ever after.
It was just actually disgusting, by the way. Really not a big fan of that. I don't know what Edmund from Narnia was talking about. That's just, it's not worth it, you know, like hanging out with the Ice Witch for Turkish delight. What a fool. Anyway, weird child time stories aside, my prediction probably goes with Hellraisers, and that's entirely influenced by bias and seeing Hellraisers beat Virtus Pro online 16-3 on Cobblestone, and it's ingrained in my mind that should never have happened, and it did, and they looked pretty good on Cobble over in Moscow. So I'm going with Hellraisers. I think it's going to be a 2-0. Who am I? What on earth am I saying? All right, but with all of that said, it does seem like we've got a little bit of a split on the desk. We can actually see what the casters are saying as well. I wonder what Blue and Risk are up to over there.
Hellraisers 2-1.
2-1.
I'm going for the ballsy, aka machine call, and I'm going to say Hellraisers 2-0 as well.
Well, Space Soldiers probably want a couple of strong words with it, myself and Risk, when they do show us what they're made of. But, I mean, Halvor says Turkish delight, so I hope you enjoy this sweet surprise of these 3 maps.
All right, thank you very much. We'll get prepared to jump into this first map now, as it's going to be Nuke to start things off. Now, I think they made a bit of a mistake going to this map. This has always been, in my eyes, a really strong one for Hellraisers. The last time I could really see it backfiring a team, picking it against them, was like back at the last main major qualifiers for Cologne, when they played it against Dignitas. And interestingly enough, I asked them afterwards, and I think like 2 of them at the time, this is when they still had Oscar on the roster, had never even played the new iteration of the map yet, but it turned out that they were like really good at the map without putting any practice into it. It's been many, many months since then, so now they've definitely put practice into it. The roster's a little bit different, but I still feel like it's a really strong bet for them, whereas Space Soldiers does not have really a lot of experience playing this against higher tier teams, so I feel like they're ultimately going to crush them here.
Yeah, and I agree on Nuke specifically. And then we move on to Cobblestone, and Cobblestone is going to be, I think, once again we're going to have one of these incredibly close games, but I actually think in the end that our good friends from Hellraisers can close this out 2-0 because they have a decent win rate on this. This is something like a 56.3% win rate on Cobblestone throughout the last 10 or 12 months, so they're not bad on this map either. Of course, it is the pick of Space Soldiers. They have a much higher win rate, but it is against lower tier teams. Hellraisers are constantly playing against top tier teams, like Machine said, against Virtus Pro, and still keeping a positive win percentage.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that I think will spin this into it too is like you were mentioning there, the constant improvements that we've been seeing here from Space Soldiers, and just how much of a spin around they had on their T-side on that map yesterday, and that is what could throw that map into their favor in my eyes and take it over to number 3 there. So we'll kind of have to wait and see on that one, but Nuke is going to be the kicker, and it's always so hard to predict Nuke with it being such a polarizing map there. The side still very much for many teams in the way that I've always kind of ended up casting it. It still ends up being very, very CT-sided and very dependent on how well the Ts are able to control the outside area. If they can consistently get control there and push back the CTs and be able to use that to really either get access to the garage area in A or secret down to B, then all right, the Ts can get up actually quite a few rounds. That can make it quite difficult for the TTs to be able to come back in the second half. But if the CTs are good, if you have like great op presence in the warehouse area and you're able to consistently deny them from even getting that, then they're very limited in the options that the Ts will have to actually push into a bomb site. And with that, you're able to very easily control that first half on your CT side and make the rest of the match much easier for you when you switch sides yourself.
Definitely. One of the players that I'm looking forward to a lot is Deadfox, who is a player that on the international top-level scene, he hasn't really been here yet. But now with Hellraisers, he had, of course, his experience at the epicenter in Moscow. But apart from that, Deadfox is one of these players that has moved on constantly through teams and more teams and more teams. And now he's on this team with Hellraisers, with this mixed European lineup. As far as I know, communicates in English primarily.
They do, I believe. I was watching them last night.
Exactly. So. And now he's in this team, and he has to prove himself that he can actually play on this level, and I'm looking forward to see him just drop bombs.
Yeah, It'll be fun to watch that, but as we can see, we're now getting started. No knife round at the beginning of the best of 3, of course, since the sides were decided by the team that did not pick the map, which, well, quite obviously means that Space Soldiers are going to get their start on the CT side here, and Hellraisers will jump onto the T side. That would be a very interesting move if someone had the choice of sides and ended up actually going T at the beginning on this map.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Right now we do see Dead Fox with 2 flashes and a molly, while Stuko has that smoke grenade. The rest of the teams, of course, on the T side with full armor. We actually do see a nade and a kit, of course, on Despair. You always need that one player with a kit on the CT side.
And we can see, too, early on here, Hellraiser's not actually sending a lot of pressure to the outside area of the map at all. For the most part, actually just keeping these guys in the lobby way and heading over there towards Old Radio. They've sent quite a few there. No pushes coming in yet over here towards the ramp room or either really anywhere across the map here, but also at the same time, Space Soldier's not really trying to do anything aggressive either. Just Engine waiting for an eventual hit to come back over here towards the ramp room, which in a couple seconds he may get a taste of it.
Yeah, he might face off against the raid boss of Zero, who had that Tech 9 dropped as he bought armor for himself. So that's going to be an interesting opening.
Still waiting for Hellraisers to make the first strike here. They run down the timer quite a bit here. Prepared to try and throw some of those smokes inside too, and it actually looks like the hit is going to be working its way over here. Initially, at least, making a lot of noise into that A site, but Dead Fox watching for the flank over here to work its way out from ramp. Himself maybe into a little bit of a battle with Zero. The patience pays off in the T lobby here. It works out, grabs Xantares as he tries to push and looking for some intel, but all he gets is, well, himself dead. And the rest of Hellraisers are going to be able to push over towards ramp room. This is where Engine hopefully has to try and hold this. 1 kill for him. The distraction of the jumping player allows Zero to catch the trade. Now Bondic, already having control down here, is going to push into the vents. Unfortunately, Paz just not expecting that at all. He's going to get knocked out, and it puts it into a 4v2 with site control in the favor of the guys here now from Hellraisers. Angel finding that kill. It's up to 2 clicks now to hold, and he's actually just picked up 2 kills. With the bomb not even being on the ground yet, he could certainly try to clutch this out, but it doesn't work. The bomb goes down on the A-bomb site, and Hellraisers take control of the first round.
And once again, that raid boss setup really just pays off as we see Zero picking up 3 kills, not losing a single point of health, and just basically brute forcing his way into this round. Space Shoulder's now down 0-1. Despite Fatugas' really valiant effort of trying to clutch this one out. He got the first 2 in a 2v4, but then eventually lost it out. Now we do see the whole shopping spree coming in from Hellraisers.
Again, as they've invested into this round now, Hellraisers will start to send their pressure over here towards outside area. Don't have any real resistance coming in from it, but they've tucked away, and they're certainly going to be able to try and stop them from using this part of the map to transition into the sites. First up to bat will be Xantares around the corner, but the smoke will prevent him from really doing anything at all. He'll have to spin around real quickly and make sure that nothing pushes its way out the doorway, or even the little mini shed there, but unfortunately without any defense in the warehouse, while Angel's free to push directly in their Engine out with the scout, though. He's going to find 1 pickup after he loses his teammate Tukix a little bit further away from that one. Still hunting, I believe, for... It's Angel a little bit further back there, but not going to be able to take him down at this time.
So here we go, Bondic trying his best, jumping down and getting that one with confidence. He's taking out Engine, and now only 2 CT players remain, and Bondic is in a great position, but Xantares shuts him down with the deagle.
Xantares finding that pickup there, still holding strong on the A site, but it's the B site that's very weak. Secret is wide open for these guys to roll right down to the other bomb site, but no, it seems like they're going to push into A regardless here. Xantares almost being able to turn around and connect that headshot with the deagle, but there's not enough time. Angel and Stiko find those final 2 pickups there, and it will let them go up 2-0 with minimal losses on the first round there.
Yeah, definitely. Now Space Soldiers find themselves in an almost complete eco, 3p to 50 sport, I think, and look at that jump. Wow, Bondic just nailing Engine to the ground.
A dirty kill there to be able to take him down. Now obviously this takes us into the trash round now for Space Soldiers. Just the P250s, minimal investments beyond that, no utility, no armor, not really anything at all. So we would hope that Hellraiser is able to push this one. But we see that aggression coming in over there through Old Radio, handled very nicely with the exception of Despy finding that 1 kill and a team kill apparently. The grenade ends up working its way in there too. Rip Dead Fox, but the rest of it is handled, and Hellraisers still get that 3rd round.
Dead Fox is dead. So here we go. Buy round coming up for Space Soldiers. This is time for them to make their stand, to make their mark in the early parts of this first map in this best of 3. We do see them, of course, buying whatever they can. I'm missing a tad of utility on Xantares, for example, but Xantares is also one of these players who will go for the aggressive peak, so he might not need the Molotovs and stuff like that. Of course, the smoke is always the thing you go to first, unless you have some kind of specific setup with pop flashes, something like that. Smoke's always good on the CT side.
So for Hellraisers here now again, it's the much slower paced, sort of trudging forward. to get outside control. But this is interesting. They're not really going for it at all. It's just Angel creeping through that after they get the smoke wall lined up. The rest are holding back. Again, mainly with the focus on T lobby currently, and just letting Angel sneak over towards Secret there.
Engine holding things down on the ramp. No one is crouching into his position. On the other side of things, we do have the terrorist team just waiting, slowly but surely, taking the time down like they did in that pistol round, which ended successfully for them. Bondik, of course, still on that UMP 45, has not upgraded yet, so he'll probably be one of the guys who will be an easier target for the CTs who do have the M4s and upgraded, so they'll be ready to take him out. But Bondik, a great player individually as well, so probably will be able to take this 1v1.
We can see again the rest of them pushing their way in here. We got one guy sitting up on top. Engine is not going to last very long. All 4 of the pushers here from Hellraisers just kind of explode out, and now they're going to be able to drop down. And what's interesting too is they may not even be aware that Angel snuck in. Thankfully, it won't be too large of a consequence as he doesn't end up meeting anybody on his way down to the site anyway. Just ends up regrouping with them, but it was good because it could have crunched anyone in this site, prevented them from evacuating, and then later kind of being a menace to them. So regardless, the bomb going onto the ground, and now it's them trying to hold in the 5v4. Space Soldiers still have a chance at this one, but these are really solid positions despite the fact that they only had to kill 1 player to get down here. Stiko now waiting outside of the vents with the AK. We'll see if anybody from Space Soldiers is even going to be able to challenge that one. It's not only is going to have support just outside of the vents itself, but Zero back at New Toxic, well, he's able to contribute to. Now Stiko strikes. Finally, Xantares finding at least 1 pickup here, and Despy opening up the doorway. He's put on the second, but they lose Xantares, and then Despy pretty quickly after that as the Raps come in over there to the double doors for Hellraisers to pick up the first gun round.
That was a really, really good post-plant situation coming in for Hellraisers there. They had everything mapped out. They had positions locked down. Of course, with the opening onto ramp and the quick takedown towards the lower bomb side, that is always a great start, but that was just absolutely perfect. Look at Zero. 9-1 scoreline. That is insane.
Jesus. Zero's on fire currently.
He has a big bar.
That's a very big bar. Graphical bar, of course.
Of course.
Calm down, Twitch.
But right now, of course, we do see the pistol round coming in from Space Soldiers. Not too much of an investment into this. Centaurus with Deagle and small armor. That's the biggest one. The rest of the team on 5.7s and P250, so don't expect too much from them. They are trying to play some aggressive positions, but smoked out here. Centaurus will try and find some shots, but not really working out. And already now they have to rotate 1 player towards the lower bomb site, but they are pushing into lobby, these CT players, and finding nothing from the terrorist side.
So now that they've gotten already quick control here, where is Space Soldiers going to actually look to defend this? They need to make sure that they can transition very quickly in the event it goes. They put their defenses, I should say, onto the incorrect bomb site here. Bondik again pushing himself in. They're a little bit hesitant, of course, to actually fully commit, looking for those opening kills. But thankfully, a nice distraction works out there. Atari's missing his first volley, and that allows Angel to move in here. 2 quick punishing kills onto these guys to take them down. Also, Engine being knocked out pretty quickly after that one, too. It's just Despy, who was actually working on a decent flank. It's just, unfortunately, he's going to find himself the position to execute upon it way too late.
Good stat padding from Angel, who picks up 3 in the Zeke around here, so he's going to be happy with that. Despy all alone in a 1v5, and, yeah. Maybe he can get a kill him, but no, Bondik shuts him down. That could have been a kill for Despy, which could have been some kind of consolation in an otherwise terrible round, but it's just an eco, so they'll look to quickly move on past this, and this is the round they've been waiting for. Double up setup on the CT side.
We will see again if Despy comes out to play with that. One of the highlightable parts of Space Soldiers yesterday, especially in some of their earlier games versus like alternate attacks that we saw played. These guys have won their group, but right now they're showing a very weak stride to be on the favored side of Nuke. They need to try and show that they deserve that first place position and be able to fight a little bit harder here against Hellraisers. On the opening play, though, Despy again trying to challenge that outer pressure, but it's all a bit of a ruse. They set up the smokes, but this time really no one following it up with the push over towards Secret. They're all just going to fall back inside of the T lobbyway, apologies, and really just try to make them draw the attention towards outside since they still have the pressure there with the smokes.
So no shots being exchanged so far between these 2 teams, and Bondik just waiting here by the door. The double up setup has not really been spotted yet. They haven't really shown anything, and this is the usual Hellraiser style of playing this new T side, is that they just wait down the timer and then at some point just explode onto the bomb side. And first spray going down, that's Angel, not going to get blocked off by that Molotov, and the rest of the team now trying to explode inside. There goes the flashbang, and here we go. Pass on the side, together with his teammate, holding it down. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Space Soldiers.
And now it all goes down to Angel in the 1v3. He still has plenty of time to work this, so not pressed at all right now, but even as he moves out here too, he'll instantly be challenged by guys up top there. There's the first one, and it's going to come from Despy, managing to take him down. Engine sitting a little bit further away from this one. He will not be able to contribute currently, but Angel now down at 6 HP. He'll try to push his way forward, but at the moment he's being flanked out by Tugux, and he may not even realize it here. But Tugux, at the same time, I don't think he's spotted it either. I don't see him wrapping in, and he's waiting for him. Oh no, Angel's walking right into the trap, and dead.
Dead, of course. 5-1. Space Soldiers finally get themselves around in this game. Of course, as we mentioned in the short pre-game we did, the CT side on DE Nuke is clearly the strong one, where you get most of your rounds. So them being behind 1-5 is not a good start for them, but hopefully now they can string some rounds together after this one-round win, after a great hold on that inner push.
So, with finally us seeing Space Soldiers get something on the board here, as always, it becomes a question of consistency.
Yeah.
Hellraisers don't immediately try to challenge them. Now they caught on to their games that are playing with the smokes on outside, and I actually think Hellraisers are going to go for it much more forcefully this time. Space Soldiers have kind of responded in kind, though. They've kept the pressure away from the warehouse over there. They kind of had Xantari sitting in the garage to resist it, but now he's gone away from this one completely, and they're just going to hand over outside control to Hellraisers, which is always very dangerous.
So here we go. Xantaris has made his sneaky way into the lower parts of this map. Right, currently waiting with an AK. Bondig also here on top of main, just trying to flush out any CTs, but no one's really in any of these positions. So a big bunch of map control coming in for Hellraisers. They control all the important areas. Despy here in an interesting position, which will grant him a kill. Oh, okay. Gets wrecked straight afterwards.
Excuse me.
An Angel, bless you.
Thank you. We don't have a mute button here.
That's okay. Angel will bless you, and hopefully he will bless the rest of this server with some awesome frags incoming here, because he has an interesting position here just below heaven.
After the opening battles now, Hellraisers, I mean, they've got the control, but again, the time is not really working out in their favor. Only 30 seconds left on the clock here now for them to actually get onto the site and find the plant. And while they've surrounded the site, they haven't necessarily found any kills there. Zero moving in. He's found Xantari's, an Angel following that up with one of his own too, but Paz is responding. He's down below on the site. Angel trying to challenge the usual angles, but it's Dead Fox that nets the kill. 15 seconds still. Engine rotating back in here. He's looking for Dead Fox, but no. It's going to be Dead Fox himself that takes him down. And Hellraisers traded out and gain their 6th.
Yeah, that's a great round from Hellraisers, and I love the way that they play the Nuke map. They just gain a bunch of interesting positions, and then in the last 20 seconds you just explode onto a bomb site. But it's not just like a normal explosion where you just rush the two normal positions from the T side. You have players like in heaven, like you saw Angel coming in, Dead Fox coming in the door with AWP where you don't really expect him to be, and he just gets the frag. Dead Fox with a double in that round, and now forcing Space Soldiers on this terrible, terrible buy. We do have a Nova on Engine, and Tugus just starts by going down immediately to Angel.
The shotgun play, too, should be interesting to see how that plays out. I think they're going to try to play aggressively out towards old radio room there, but doesn't really work the greatest. Zero now waits for these guys to push into them, and Stiko's there to support too. He's actually brought down rather low, and oh, doesn't run far enough away. So Despy will be able to dip in there for a moment and pick up the kill now. Xantares, he's got the AK in hand, and once again will position himself to be able to grab a trade after Zero takes down Despy, but unfortunately he is now alone, and the second he walks back into that bomb site, Dead Fox is awaiting, and will grab the last kill.
Yeah, Dead Fox, of course, taken over the reins from the last AWP they had on the team, which is Oscar. And to be honest, he hasn't had too many frags yet, but the frags that he's had have been very, very solid shots. He hasn't missed anything so far, and that is so important when you have a player like him who's coming into the team. He needs to just be able to hit the standard shots, and he's doing that. And he's not doing a crazy impressive JW flick shots all over the place, but he's hitting every shot he needs to hit, and that's the important thing.
And talk about, again, Hellraisers at the beginning, how they were going to crush Space Soldiers here. We're seeing that right now, and the other problem is, too, is Hellraisers are already building up a crap ton of money. I think Dead Fox specifically is sitting like at over 10k plus buy right now, with quite a few of the others edging up to 8k. Angel spots the barrel of Paz just as it's about to peak there, so he is able to punish that. Stiko catching another one. We may not expect the second guy here, but regardless, even if he gets this kill, The rest of the cleanup is going pretty nicely now. They pushed into the T lobby, but Angel finding the frag on a Despy, or not Despy, Xantares, and they already know where Despy himself is. They're just going to surround them, push ball once. Jack's actually lying 2 of them up there, so Despy able to find some damage, and now they got to back away a little bit here. This is a situation that, in theory, Despy could clutch.
Almost down though, so that's going to be a huge factor. And he tries to spray them through the wall, but it doesn't really work out for him. Angel and Zero now. 2v1 against Despy. Despy has no utility, but look at that. 2 Molotovs and 4 flashbangs combined between these 2 terrorists, and surely they're going to use these to just hold the CT off and, oh, get spotted. So now everyone knows where everyone is, apart from Angel in the door, just playing it sneaky.
He saw Angel, though, so he knows,
yeah, okay.
He knows where he is.
Makes sense.
And now he's going to move out. He's seen that shadow of Zero, so that's why he's kind of looking at that corner right now. And he does, but Zero is able to adjust anyway and grabs the final frag there. So they'll pick it up, and again, looking very strong. 8-1, Angel about $700 away from max money. Not the best situation for him. Thankfully, some of the other guys are a little bit lower, so he's going to be able to kind of spread the love around a bit there and toss out some guns.
Yeah, Angel is 14-3 right now score-wise, and Zero 14-4. So they are clearly in the driving seat of the car that is Hellraisers right now, and it's on the highway and it's just rolling over space soldiers.
That's a very long-winded analogy.
That's what I do, man. But here we have, of course, a buy round coming in from Space Soldiers once again, and they need to do something right now. They need to show some kind of promise to the viewers and themselves, to be honest, that they actually have a chance on Nuke. And they're on the strong side, and they're behind 1-8. They need a round now.
Hellraisers, I mean, started off strong. They've kept their strength going. And now they're just going to go in and take full control of the A-side more likely. Again, be given outside control is nothing that you can let happen. But look at this. Tugux and Paz again. The A-side is actually one of their strongest areas now. And we can see Despy, Tugux, and Paz, one of the few bright lights here for Space Soldiers. Whenever Hellraisers goes for a direct hit, oftentimes it does go badly, or at the very least they're forced out of it. As we've seen right there, they're able to hold it very nicely. And Hellraisers don't get anything done in that round.
Very good job by Paz. That position was absolutely crucial from him. Gets 2 frags and bunch of damage onto the 3rd one as well, and then Despy finishes it off with a double on his own. So great job by Space Soldiers finally getting back into the server, and now it's 2-8. Hellraisers, of course, as we mentioned, the economy is strong, so they'll be able to rebuy.
And we can see Hellraisers now pushing for the actual outside control here once more, not being resisted to again. They've all held back, and Despy, where's he hiding out at currently? He's way in the back over there.
Yeah. So
Hellraisers are going to sneak down through Xantares. He's waiting. It takes up that first kill there, but it's a quick trade. However, he spotted all of this. So these are going to be quick rotates from Space Soldiers down to the site, and Hellraisers will probably have to slow their roll a little bit in taking control down here. No, well, he's not going to wait at all. Walks right in there, gets the first player. Dead Fox almost loses his life, but a quick response over there. Decon takes down Engine.
So here we go. Dead Fox sitting in position. The bomb is still dropped. Smoke going out. Question is how they're going to play this. And Smoke, of course, will allow him to grab the bomb, but nothing more than that. Despy's still on that ramp, and look at that. Tugux killing the rotating T player in vents. So now it's a 3v2, but Dead Fox is only on 6 HP, so it's going to be incredibly hard for him.
Tugux is aware that something's going on down there, and he's waiting for the peaks to come in. Dead Fox, there's no way he can currently risk going for that. But it looks like he's wanting to play with it a bit.
He wants to.
Away from this, though. Bondix for the kill, the drop in, and he spotted his foot early. Given the time to scope back in, I'll back away there and let Bondix take that as he works his way up. Now Paz does rotated in over here on the ramp. They don't know he's here. But at the same time, Hellraisers have been smart. They've gone up to the A-bomb site, where Paz is going to have to take actually quite a long route to rotate in. Thankfully, the bomb is only just now going on the ground, so he still has plenty of time. Kit and full utility stack, too. A smoke, an HE grenade, and the 2 flashbangs. He moves in, almost losing it there, and what was that spray transfer?
Yeah, just spray transferring onto nothing, basically. But, oh wow, that's beautiful by Paz. Clutches that 1v2. When the rest of his team falls and crumbles, Paz will stand up strong and take that round home for his team. 2 kills and a 1v2 clutch. And Space Soldiers get round number 3. 3, that is.
Space Soldiers picking it up there. Finally looking at some consistency for these guys. But as I mentioned before, Hellraisers had like a huge bank to burn through here. And with that, they'll be able to Good transfer in theory there, just not finding Bondic actually inside. It was almost hitting him through the wall at that point, which would have been crazy. But
he predicted that the terrorist was going to peek him at the same time. So it was, it was a good idea. And he ended up winning the round anyways. Right now, once again, full buy for both teams, as you said. Engine on the ramp with the AWP. Not going to find anyone anytime soon because the terrorists are all in other positions.
And with that, Hellraisers finally losing some of their power here. But, well, Angel, he's going to do his best to get it right back. No regards at all for the smokes that I think his team set up here, pushing directly through it, moving in, and that's already Despy, who's one of the bigger players here for Space Soldiers, getting knocked out of the round this early on. These are interesting smokes, too, to take control of this area of the map, blocking it off, making sure no one from the Hell window can mess with them. Anybody from Heaven either can have a hard time. Tukix, though, pushing out, does manage to find Angel a little bit exposed there, and at low HP, it's easy pickings to take him down and out of the equation here to catch the trade for the other loss of a teammate and bring it back down to a 4v4.
Puts down the smoke there. Deadfox is looking towards the correct position here, exactly what Tukix was imagining as he put that smoke down. Bondic on the upper part. Could shut down the CT, but this is just a standoff right now between these two teams. No one wants to commit to anything as the timer runs down closer to 0.
Bondic with the flashbang and all that's a perfect setup, and there's also players lined up for it. Bondic could not have had a better setup there for himself. Taking down Tukix and Paz, luckily sits directly behind it. Now Stiko is going to engage from the T lobby, takes down Xantares, and it leaves just Engine alive back over here, over on the ramp.
So Engine with an AWP to save and a small armor as well. Of course, going to do his best to bring this one into the next round. The money situation on Hellraisers will allow them to perhaps sacrifice 1 or 2 players to hunt this AWP down, but they are not in the same position as they were 2 or 3 rounds ago where they had a big amount of cash, as you said. So don't want to commit every single AK to the hunt of Engine.
And the pause will come in, as we can see already called, assumably by Space Soldiers for tactical reasons here. So they certainly need take a breather here and figure out how exactly they're going to round this comeback here. Engine gonna save, gets the nice no-scope there, even clips the second player, gets the 3rd shot connection, but only the 2nd kill, and he still loses the op. However, the bomb explosion actually kills that last guy on Hellraisers, so everybody ends up going down.
That's something. As we can see on the money right now, Deadfox is strapped for cash, but Angel can probably drop him an orb and they can switch over, so he can be on an orb and have armor as well. But good round once again from Hellraisers. It's playing really solid. Also this 2-man take with the flashbang for the teammate and just double kill from Bondic. That is on point.
Tukix could not have backed up into a worse spot either. Because like I said, it's directly in front of his own teammate, so it just lines the kills right up for him. Racks him up and allows that to happen. So predetermined, I imagine, from the last one alive on Space Soldiers there. Hits that second guy, it's not the kill. He's like, I'm not even going to worry about that. The bomb's going to get him. Definitely didn't know that, but ends up working like that. And I'm sure he'd take credit for it anyway.
For sure, for sure.
Everyone would.
But right now, Space Soldiers, they have a decision to make. Okay, Xantares just says, okay, screw saving. I'm just going to buy Deagle and small armor and just go ham. Hopefully that's the plan at least, as he has invested all of his cash into one pile of Desert Eagle.
Paz, the most effective player there, as you can see, the KDA certainly not matching up with his opponent on the other side there as kind of doppelganger from the other team, but Xantares with the Deagle, goodbye 0. The second the door swings wide open there, knocks him out, and now Angel's got to try to reclaim this here with a few trades back up on top, but his teammate over there, Bondic's also losing some damage too, losing about 1/3 of his HP to the player inside of the warehouse. Angel is actually going to bypass most of this fight out here on outside, and it's just going to sneak over here through, directly over here towards Secret instead.
So let's see here, Angel making his way slowly but surely down to the lower B bomb site. And, well, there's no CTs to find right now. Deadfox rotating all the way around. And let's see. Okay, Stiko's lining up the smoke here.
He's got the spot. He's got the aim spot. And there it goes. Nicely done. So he can directly into the site. And we'll see these guys ready to deploy in a moment here, too. Time, still actually quite a bit of it, but Paz in the mini shed could prove difficult. However, again, it's a bit, Deadfox, nice adjustment. I think Desi was just going to rip these guys to shreds, but they do manage to change in the last second. Paz is going on a bit of a wild goose chase. The problem is that shotgun, there's already such a wide space open between him and the rest of the team. That's going to be difficult. He actually trades it up for his teammate SMG, but Xantares at the moment is keeping the guys from Space Soldiers in this matchup. Finally, he goes down after picking up 3 frags. Before doing so, the bomb has been planted, but Dead Fox and Bondic already both lit here. They need to try and guarantee a quick kill. Tuguk's making this difficult here. The vent peek that he initially goes for does not lead him into a position where Bondic can easily take him down. He finds it, and also Dead Fox lying there to save his life as he takes down Engine. Now even spots Paz up on top here as he's hiding out inside of New Toxic, but Bondic able to close out there. Nicely played in the site to support each other, and Hellraisers pick up a 10th.
Yeah, that was really, really well held, and also the fact that Bondic almost ran out of ammo there in the end, had 4 bullets remaining there, and ended up picking up the Glock instead and getting the last frag with that. So, well played by Hellraisers, utilizing all the cards that they have in their hands. And now Space Soldiers once again forced into this round where, okay, they can buy some deagles, but that is going to be all because they need those $2,000 coming into the next round.
And Hellraisers themselves, again, over here towards outside very quickly, but a little bit more resistance possibly coming in from Space Soldiers. At least they're in the garage. Whoa, okay. Goodbye, Despy. It's way too ballsy out in the open there. Definitely not going to be able to take the duel versus that many players from Hellraisers pushing. He couldn't necessarily know this, but nope. Calm down, Tugix.
Calm down, and here we go. Xantares is moving into a very interesting position. If he can take down Zero here, that's going to close down a huge part of the map. And he actually has Engine coming in the other way, but Engine just does not hit anything. Whoa, Zero!
The spin around and the split second spot on the Xantares, and he takes him down. Stiko even looking for one of the last guys too. Tuguk's trying to wrap outside. That doesn't work. And Angel grabbing the last kill. Hellraisers shut it down with Zero having 2 fantastic kills.
That was complete decimation by Zero there. A situation where technically he should not have survived either of those things, but he just spins around and gets that. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And oh wow, Space Soldiers not satisfied with that situation. Now we will have round number 14, or round number 15 coming in here. Last round of the first half for these two teams.
Not looking good at all for Space Soldiers, considering we saw strengths on their CT side start most of yesterday. Now granted, T-side on one specific map had improved. We only saw 1 map played from them yesterday. We have to hope that that T-side here is going to look really great, regardless of the outcome of this round, as otherwise, well, things will be looking very bad for Space Soldiers to be able to carry through with the rest of this set. Engine just ripping them to shreds as they both push in. He gets over here underneath of the catwalk. Finally, Zero catching the trade. Engine, he's primed it for the guys here on Space Soldiers to be able to claim a 4th round. There's still a lot more work to do. Paz, though, finding a bit of it, takes down Zero, leaving it only down to Stiko and Dead Fox. Stiko falling back up the ramp, catches players trying to flank through Hell, eliminating the first one there, but there's 3 more pushing down to the bomb site. The smoke, though, perfectly timed to keep Dead Fox alive. He's going to pick up one before going down to Despy, who's pushed back over there. The nade is perfectly positioned. Paz is going to take him down with the rifle and A, but the nade damage certainly assisting with that. And Space Soldiers, well, they do pull it off there. Mainly off of the heroics from Engine there as soon as they go in for the take, but it will be a 4th round for the Turkish team.
That was probably the best round in that entire half for Space Soldiers. That was perfectly combined with the nade also in the last kill. They know that they have to take him down, and they do so in spectacular fashion. That was the first half. Now we are jumping into the second one. Between these two here, Nuke, and we have Hellraisers switching over to the arguably easier side on the CT.
11-4, though, is still very, very bad for Space Soldiers here on Nuke. It's, if we see a pistol round 1 here by the guys on Hellraisers, it's almost a death toll already.
Yep.
They'll have maybe 1 or 2 big mistakes they can make if they don't immediately then upset on that second force-up round, assuming they go for that, of course. And if things go down a much darker path, then Hellraisers will pretty quickly still clean up this map and be well on their way to a spot in the upper bracket finals versus Godsent.
So here we go. Surely game starting any second now. Countdown has begun in the server. And yeah, just waiting for these guys to get ready to play the second half. And Space Soldiers, they need to shake things up. They need to do something different. And also from the fact that we've seen them play T-sides before and it has not been convincing. So they need to shake that up as well. So this is a very tough task coming in for the Space Soldiers. Can they do this? And can they really just get through this, or are they just going to go straight into the second map with a big loss in the first one?
Yeah, we can see just reviewing the last round there too, some good stuff from Engine. Getting a little bit better. A nice little shuffle from him there.
So here we go.
Did my job.
Look at that. That's actually a big amount of utility on a T side here. This is the first time around we've seen more than just 2 or 3 grenades on a T side in a pistol round. So this is going to be interesting. Surely this is something that they have set up and practiced many times again. And let's see if it's going to work here against Hellraisers.
Well, on the opening moments now, Space Soldiers not really doing anything too active here. In fact, it's very similar to what we saw from Hellraisers. That is a big nade arc, though, being tossed over for these guys to get some control leading up the catwalk, actually, instead of back over here towards Secret. Now, Angel is still going to find himself overwhelmed, but this, I imagine, to take control of A main, and, well, it certainly is. Xantares finding the first kill there, an Engine, the swipe, as he moves into the site. Stiko goes down, Dead Fox looking to trade, but he can't get that last bullet. Tuguk still remains alive. The nade goes directly onto Dead Fox's head, bringing him down to 40 HP. So now, how are these guys going to even get back into this site? That was so well placed from Space Soldiers. That was great smokes onto the catwalk, too, to allow them to dive back down to the garage. Now, Dead Fox, though, finally getting that kill, but that's just the start of it.
Here we go, Xantares and Engine working in cohesion, picking up frags left, right, and center, and that will be it. Only one player lost in the T side, and as you said, those smokes were perfect, allowing the setup for Space Soldiers to get into that A-bomb site, to get the bomb planted and hold it in post-plant positions.
Again, with C2-0, still the kind of still the star at this point for Hellraisers, but Angel's been helping out quite a bit too. However, on the Space Soldier side, it's pretty much an even effort at this point. Yeah. Everybody has been contributing to, well, they're not so great scoreline. Hopefully, with the pistol round victory, we can see that changed a little bit now in the second half.
So we do have 3 5.7s and 2 C-75s. And armor bought for most of the CTs, and this is a dangerous round for Space Soldiers because they cannot underestimate the power of these pistols, and especially in the hands of players from the Hellraisers. And look at this position from Zero here. That's going to be interesting if Despair just instantly checks that, or if it doesn't, because if it doesn't check that instantly, Zero just going to gun him down with the CZ-75. Probably not going to have enough bullets to gun down the second guy as well if they peek at the same time, but still, that one-for-one trade when they're on this kind of a round is a good trade for Hellraisers.
Zero just still patiently waiting, but he's going to have himself a whole lot of players, and look who's joining this one too. Angel on the way to assist from across the way. He can actually draw a lot of the attention over there towards Hell. No one's even checked yet. They'll do so now, but Zero's got the kill. Ducks away into the corner. No one's taking him down. They found that frag, and with Xantares also knocking out Angel, they've got their path down over to the B bomb site, and they still have a man advantage to work with too. Engine even hiding out here a little bit to try and see if he can catch anybody from Hellraisers going for the chase. They're not doing that though. Everybody's sitting back, and actually Bondic in a great spot to try and punish any players that would push through Hell to try and get these guys up in heaven.
So let's see here. They do have one player positioned down by the doors to the left. That is Stiko with a 5.7 as well, and misses a bunch of bullets there. One coming close by as well. Doesn't hit that either. Pass takes him down, and the bomb will be planted. Pass coming in from the other way around. Dead Fox here on the bomb site, but the bomb is planted basically in the air almost. Pass is taking him down as well. Bondic now 1v4. Going to be incredibly hard for him to do anything, but now he does have an SMG.
SMG, but I don't think he's actually going to fully recommit. I'm probably just going to be posting himself outside of the rat room here and looking for exits. This round is going to go into the hands of Space Soldiers. They will pick up that 6th round. They prevented the second round force upset from Hellraisers, and with that, now they're on the path, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
To a comeback here, but still a bit of a ways to go. Got about 3 or 4 more gun rounds before we can actually say that they pulled it off.
Yeah, and especially when we hit that first gun round, that's going to be the real testament of how well their T side is, because when Hellraisers get a full buy on that CT side, I think that's going to be a very scary opposition to play against.
But getting into it now will be the trash round from Hellraisers, so a pretty easy one for Space Soldiers and a great chance for them to kind of rack up the bank, especially with them surviving that last one with still 4 players up and running at the end of it there. Keeping them all strong, keeping the money built up. This is what Hellraisers used for a large portion of that last half when we actually still had them basically on that huge streak there. Even when Space Soldiers started picking up rounds, they were just able to buy through all that. So if they can do something similar, they're going to have just as strong of a fortification when Hellraisers start to pick up the rounds. However, Angel this time goes directly against the contest of this A push here, picking up at least that 1 frag. Tuguk's in the bomb site though, trying to clean things up. Him, Xantares, Zero up on top of the mini shed, picks up 1 more, but then goes down to Engine, and everything wants to Dead Fox in the 1v3. Trying to use the angles. Oh, he's almost got that kill, but Engine's going to duck away. It's the second one, so close, but it's not going to play out.
That is unlucky. 2 players on 10 and 12 HP there for Dead Fox. His USPS was on point, but not on point enough. And here we go. Byron coming in. Dead Fox will be on the AWP. Glass Cannon set up. The rest of the team also on kind of a limited buy. We do see 1 FAMAS and some utility missing on some of the other players. So not looking like the best buy ever for Hellraisers, but I think it might just be enough to shut down Space Soldiers. So let's have a look.
84.62 HSP. That's impressive.
That is
13 kills too. It's not even like it's like the first 6 rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
So as we see Bondic pushing his way in here, he's gonna pick up that first kill against Tugux now. He's also found great damage on the pads, and oh no, left his foot out in the open. Bit inconvenient. Angel also waiting for the push to come in. It seems like on the gun round, things go right back to business for Hellraisers here. And the last 2 left alive, well, they've got control of T lobby, but that is it.
Yeah, that is pretty much a terrible setup coming this late into the round. They aren't trying their way down towards ramp, where Zero currently is, but they're actually being allowed to take this, at least the radio control so far, and are making their way down towards ramp. But Zero now looking up, and he's going to see a body any second now and call this to his teammates and rotate quickly down towards that lower, more defensive side.
Zero falling away from this one now, waiting for Xantares to push in. He's got the angle. He's been spotted, though, and actually that's a pretty exposed position, so Xantares is able to punish that. They get control here down on B, but unless they go, I was about to say, unless they go into construction, they can stop the bomb from going in. Xantares, though, reading the minds of these guys on Hellraisers, leaping right inside of there, taking down Angel. Now they've got the plant, but can they hold in this 2v3 with low HP? Stico hoping that Engine's going to push. There's no real reason for him to do it, though. So time for these guys to kind of go in. And I mean, even the areas like outside of Enwald, it's not necessarily cleared for them. So they've got to be cautious with every turn they make here. Moving in, though, they've spotted Xantares in the back. One's been located. They get the kill. Engine with the trade. He's now alone, but he goes down to Stico. And with that, it'll be another one for Hellraisers. Thank goodness that ladder's there now.
So, 12-7 will be the scoreline between these two teams. As we move into round number 20 in this first map in this best of 3. No kit, of course. Will take some time to get that bomb defused, but in the end it will be defused and Hellraisers will take that round. Money, though, is looking fine on the Space Soldier side, so they'll be able to rebuy in this one, no worries. Hellraisers on the other side will actually have a decent buy compared to what they had on the last round.
So they continue to climb here now for the Space Soldiers side. They've brought down this lead for Hellraisers to only 5 rounds, but this is still a bit dangerous considering how far ahead Hellraisers are, just to getting up to 16 rounds, of course, with them dropping that one, of course. If this remains a consistent thing and Hellraisers are finally able to shut things down from their CT side and build up, then they're not going to be able to make a whole lot of mistakes here. Preventing the early hit like we saw previously on the first gun round now. Stico Molotoving it off, but all the windows breaking up on top. They will still expect an execute to come in here, which is actually a ruse that Space Soldiers could heavily abuse now. Let's see if they push for outside control here. Angel going to be the one to detect it, as he too is getting smoked off. So really uncertainty is there's 3 to 4 different options in terms of where the guys from Space Soldiers could actually be going still right now, and no one on Hellraisers can see anything.
So Dead Fox has rotated to hold this outside angle as well as Angel in the garage, but no T's have really peeked it, and that's the first pick, and he gets shut down. Xantares just dies off to Dead Fox's AWP. So now 1-man advantage for the CT side, who has not lost a single point of health either, and one guy towards red, but Dead Fox is he gets flashed and forced away from that position.
As again looking for that first kill there against Angel or anybody that may be hiding here behind the crates. No one peeking out, though. Hellraisers aren't giving the Space Soldiers players anything here. They've got the control. The drop-in comes out from Paz. He's got himself into garage, but Dead Fox around the corner is going to take the first player that's trying to naturally push his way around without using that catwalk there. That's where Dead Fox will strike, and now Angel peeking out from the boxes too. These guys don't even know what's hitting them. Paz pushing in will get one more, but Dead Fox finds the trade, and Hellraisers get it to 13.
That was a beautiful round by Dead Fox. Not only did he get 3 kills, but he also assists with the flashbang that technically flashes 2 terrorists up, and his teammate could easily have taken 2 frags, got the first one, and the second kill came in a bit later in the round, but perfect round from Dead Fox, who really is impressing me right now. He's not on top of the scoreboard, but he's just lying there in a good 3rd position, but all his frags are impact frags, and he's really good at helping his teammates get frags as well.
Space Soldiers with another buy here, but it seems like they're nearing the the end of the rope now. Utility's very limited. They still get 4 AKs, but Tugux has to go down to a Tech 9, and even he only gets smoked to work with here now. So as we see those Xantares spraying in through the door against Angel, who sits right outside a garage. The angle works out beautifully for Xantares, and 1 or 2 more bullets might have done the job to eliminate Angel. It brings him down to 10 HP. Good enough of a job. Unfortunately, he will not know this until later on in the round.
So Stico sitting here on top of the door, just making sure. And here we go. The boost is happening again on the ramp. Angel is the one boosting up, and Stico dropping down a smoke just to make sure that no terrorists are going to run through that.
Molotov misses, however, so they don't know the full coverage they're looking for. Bondik finding a first kill. Stiko responds, and Bondik's easy to finish off. So there we go. Space Soldiers moving in. And keep in mind, we still have Angel lit up too. Oh, that's a perfect date on that Dead Fox. Almost max damage done while he has armor. So bringing him down to 52 HP. They've gotten themselves into the site, and it's going to be tough for the retake. Relying mainly on Zero to initiate it here, but even he's having trouble getting into a position. Tukux is going to deny it. Angel, though, waiting outside, grabs at least one more frag here. But in the 2v3, it's just not going to be worth it. With an AK and an op still in their arsenal, low HP, and basically zero utility, it's much better for them to fall back and save right now, along with them still having a 6-round lead.
So, Hellraisers giving up on that one, bringing the weapons and the utility in form of one Molotov and one flashbang in towards the next round. Space Soldiers surviving with 3 players, so that's going to help them build more economy up to the next coming rounds and get more AKs in, and make sure that everyone has the exact setup they need to run their strats, because most of these high-level strats, you need a bunch of different grenades, comparing how far you get into the round. So, of course, starting smoke is good, but pop flashes to enter side and Molotovs to flush out CTs in positions you need to get is always important. So, 8-13, and well, they have pretty much everything they need on the T side to do the execute they want.
Hellraisers, again, though, with the big buildup of a buy now. Space Soldiers themselves responding just as much in kind. No op pressure will be coming in from these Ts, but that's not going to be necessarily a big problem on a map like this, where they can still try to play things mainly on the inside of the map. Either pushing towards ramp, which has actually been a fairly underutilized position there for the Space Soldiers roster, or by just going directly into A again, which has been somewhat hit or miss. For the most part, Hellraisers have been able to shut that down quite consistently. Haven't seen either team, though, try to do like that crazy smoke rush play down the vents yet.
No.
Which was a fairly common style of play back on the old version of this map, but here in this one, at least, we're not seeing really either team try to utilize that.
Yeah, the whole vent dive thing throughout the different iterations of Counter-Strike has always been a thing, at least to some extent. I think a tad more in Source than it was in 1.6 because of the way that the vents were created in 1.6 in comparison to Source, where you could basically just run straight into them. 1.6 you had to use a bit more movement mechanic skill to get in there. Stiko right now, just holding the hut, making sure that no one passes through. And here we go.
Space Soldiers start to deploy their hit here. Hellraisers, though, they are ready for it on the inner site, but there's nothing coming into the inner site. They're all pushing outside now and wrapping around here to try to take control. The bomb actually still fully committed inside of the lobbyway, too. It's just now starting to push its way over there towards ramp. So this will fall again to Zero, who's boosted up. They've seen this before, though, but Zero puts a stop to it, and that's the whole plan's dead.
Yes.
Despite the control they have on outside, it doesn't mean anything without bomb control. Also, they waited so long to deploy this that they've only got 20 seconds on the clock now. Zentaris is trying to save it, but he goes down. Yeah, this one's over. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah. Engine is down at the lower bomb site, so he is the only one out of those 5 who made his actual way into the position he was supposed to be in the post plan. But there's no bomb, no teammates, no nothing for him, so he's just going to try and see if he can save his AK-47.
And ducking into the corner. It looks like he will remain safe. Oh, actually gets the clothesline nicely down on the Stiko, but that was a risk he would be dropped there after the timer expired. But he saves it, and now he'll be one of the few that can actually mount up some sort of an offense on this round with full rifle pickups. I think one more player is in a spot to full buy, but beyond that, again, it's just going to be armor, pistol buy-ups is the best they can do.
Yeah. So here we go. We do currently have a pulse coming in. For I'm guessing this is probably for Space Soldiers. They are in dire straits here on DE Nuke, so they need to use all the timeouts that they can to get into a position where, okay, they can actually see a way to win this map again, because there's no way of just playing if you don't have a plan to win it. And Space Soldiers, they've been playing this game for such a long time. They always have a plan. They just need to take a breather and need to figure out 100% what they're going to do in this next coming round. And we already see Engine, of course, with that AK-47 saved from the last round. A couple of the other players, well, Despair can buy an AK-47 as well. The rest of the team can buy Tech 9 armor and utility. So this is going to be the force buy for Space Soldiers. So they're just going to not play for overtime. They're just going to go straight in.
So let's take a look at it now. Space Soldiers just going for the win at this point. They're trying to round the comeback and still take this in regulation, but it's kind of a buy. I'm not, personally say I'm not too confident.
With this kind of a buy, with the way that Hellraisers has been playing CT and just Hellraisers in general.
Make a bold prediction and say this is not looking likely currently. But we've been surprised many times before. Again, the glass breaks up on top there, as they prepare to at least throw a couple smokes and whatnot in there to throw the false ruse. In terms of where exactly Hellraisers are going to go is yet to be detected here. They've got a lot of the guys in T-Lobby One or two outside on top of the Twinkie, too, or just sitting behind it there. But no clear motive for these T's yet. And even Zero's changed his position that he's playing from. They screwed that Molly like 2 times now. So I'm not sure if they just have the wrong idea about it. There's the first one connecting though into the backside. It hits onto Bondic, but he just smokes it off, so he's still on the outside though. Angel's detected some of this. Bondic actually catching the first player inside of the smoke. Zantara is getting knocked out here. More reinforcements coming into the A-bomb site, but this is not where the hit's coming from. It's all going to be pressured against Zero. He's seen it, though. He's not even going to challenge it. He's going to fall away, and he should call for help at any moment as he dives back over here and tries to go over towards the new Toxic. Still outside a little bit, missing his first shot there. Tukuk is able to push up. He grabs a kill against Zero, and they've got control of a site.
So here we go, 4 against 4. The bomb is about to get planted here for the terrorist side. The CTs are rotating in, but Angel will foil those plans with a nice frag onto Tukuk. He's now in a great position to take down Pass as well, but that's what they're going to be able to. Despe and Pass both picking up a frag each, and now it's a 2v3. Bomb still not planted, though.
And now Despe moving his way up. He'll be able to get the... Oh,
oh well.
Slightly awkward. 15 seconds too, so the time wasn't really working out in their favor, but hey, positional-wise, it actually ends up going great. Stiko, though, with the trade, now has put himself into the 1v2 here, out into the site. Despe is trying to flank him back over there towards the vent, and he's even got a fake flash outside to lure him into a false sense of security, but it still does not work. We both doubted their capability to win this round with the extremely lax amount of both gun power and utility that they bring to that round, but somehow they still piece it together and get a 9th.
Yeah, and that is how Space Soldiers do. When you just doubt them for just a tiny bit, they just turn up and turn the magic on. That is how they do. So, right now, moving into the latter stages of this second half, we have this one and then, well, basically 6 more rounds remaining. It's going to be a tough choice for Space Soldiers because they have to win every single one to take this map.
And Despe again here now, up on top with his teammates, and much like the last round, caused some noise here by just tossing and breaking all the glass with their AKs early on. Try and throw some smokes and whatnot into the site. And we'll see if they whiff that Molotov again.
So here we go. Once again, the inner take. Hellraisers right now decided to just save their money until they can do a 100% full buy, which is something I agree a lot with. If you have this 5 to 6 round lead, and you just know, okay, we're going to either be on a force buy or on a eco and then a full buy, then always do the eco.
They start to move in. Stiko up close in person. Xantares didn't even have his gun out there. That's a big mistake. Bondic clipping one off from up on top there too. And now Stiko lining up one. He's got the second one that he clotheslines. It's all onto Engine here in the 1v5. No damage done. Hellraisers were broken economically, but they still managed to piece this round together. Engine alone stuck against a wall. But it's going to be a shooting gallery for Hellraisers to take him out of it. 15-9, Hellraisers up to match points, and this is the worst economical situation Space Soldiers could have been in.
On an eco, they get 5 frags and only lose a single player on an eco, and that's basically due to this 3k that Stiko pulls in. Gets the first one with the P250, just surprised the Terrorist player, picks up the AK and gets a double after that as well. So sick play from Stiko, bringing his team on the brink of victory here in map 1.
So Hellraisers again now, getting not actually doing anything super crazy here for the most part, still holding their same positions. A little bit more weary of there being a play over there towards the rampart now, since they've been playing with it a lot more in these last couple rounds. They actually have 2 fully committed to it instead of sending the usual 2 outside with having like 1 guy in heaven and trying to watch out from the outer catwalk there. But same as the last like 3 to 4 rounds, you can hear it in the background. That's the glass breaking once again.
So Bondic once again in his usual position, everything as per usual in this round. Zero on the ramp. Xantares opening things up with a headshot straight onto Dead Fox, and they do now have ramp control. And well, another CT coming in, and Xantares just serving up headshots left, right, and center. Second one coming in for him, and he has not lost a single point of health yet. Still also full on utility almost. So lots of things to do here for Xantares.
Xantares jumping down too. He's going to check for these players inside of Toxic, and Xantares single-handedly saving Space Soldiers and keeping them in this game right now. 3 kills for him. Finally, Hellraisers are struck, but Stiko pushes in. He's going to find Paz. It looks like Xantares, he's going to have to answer the call a little bit more here, but finally someone else stepping up for the Turkish team. Despe moving in, finds the shot on the Stiko, and for Bondic, well, in this position, there's not a whole lot he can do. It is certainly going to be a 10th round for Space Soldiers.
Definitely. He's just going to see if he can grab an exit or 2, and then obviously try and save this M4. This is probably one of the best positions to do this in if they decide to rotate away towards this position. They are not though, so they're just clearing the area one by one, making sure that it's clear and they can bring their weapons into the next one, because the Space Soldiers economy is not looking terrible, but not good either. So they try to get as much money as they can into the next one. Bonding, though, will grab that exit onto 2 Gooks and deny 1 AK.
Yeah, and with 2 alive, that still isn't necessarily a great scenario for Space Soldiers, since we saw what they were working with there at the beginning of that round. They were broken. They were at the end of their rope here, so they just barely make it out of that one. The same, and with losing that 3rd player, they once again will remain in that situation for a little bit longer here. Hellraisers, I am curious though to see what they can bring in. It's actually quite a bit, as we saw a quick glimpse of that there before we go into the replay. But yeah, like I said before, Xantares like single-handedly is able to save his team in that round and prevent them from immediately dropping this first map.
If you can get 3 entries onto a CT side, then that round is pretty much won as a Tarek. Once again, opening up pass this time around, but double back from Angel.
Angel can be able to pick up both of those kills, but he's got to get the hell out of here now. But Zero working his way out on the flank. There's no stopping him. Gets back the control of Minished, and now Xantares, he's got to answer the call again. He's got to pick up another 3K if he wants to keep his team in the match. Thankfully for him, one of his opponents is at 1 HP. Zero, though, waiting on the outside here. He spotted him, gets that kill, going for the second now. He's trying to chase it, but he's got to be careful not to overexpose himself. Zero's taking a hit. This is basically an even battle right now, but Xantares closing it out. Again, 3K from him, and it goes up to 11-15.
That was absolutely insane. And he also had that Molotov ready, so technically he could push, draw it back to a more defensive position, throw out the Molotov and fake that out as well, but he just goes straight for the duel. Xantares is filled to the brim with self-confidence right now, and it is showing. 3K in 2 rounds in a row, just as you said, single-handedly keeping the dream alive for the Turkish skies of Space Soldiers.
So 2 rounds in a row now that he comes out with these big plays, and that is actually going to be enough to completely break Hellraisers. Look at this, their money gone down the drain. They're forced to basically full eco here. Angel gets a deagle, but that is it. They're going to, however, play this into exactly the exact area where Space Soldiers have been throwing almost all of their aggression at so far today. 4-man stack inside of the ramp room, and it looks like Space Soldiers are going to test it.
Well, let's see here. Zero is the first man to face this aggression. And, well, he's going to get some shots off. Gets the information as well, but not the kill. But surely Dead Fox is there as well, and they get the opening double pass, trading with 1. Despay coming in close range, but the rest of the Terrans are actually wanting to bite this.
They still have the bomb in control, but for some reason they're still testing this right now. The Molotov, okay, they're going to block them off, but if you're going for this, why are you Molotoving it off? They've got Engine waiting for this one now, and he's going to try to throw the smoke in there to deny health pressure, but as he moves in, he's got the first kill. He's still in the open with this reload. Tuvix is going to take his position here. They're slowly dispatching it. Bondic has found another kill in the midst of that one, but now it goes evenly into a 2 versus 2. Bondic retreating, trying to run away from it, but they know he's retreating. They're trying to spray him down through the wall. It's not going to work. He's escaped. He's gotten over there to Toxic, but they know he's sitting in that corner, so this is going to be an easy kill. Taking him out. Finally, we're back to reality. It's going to fall to Angel, though, and he certainly has a chance with that deagle in hand. Leaping out. I don't even think they've realized it, but I don't think he knows Tugux has put the bomb down either. He can't find him behind that smoke. He's looking for the shots, but it's not going to work out. Tugux finishing up the round, and Space Soldiers 3 away now from overtime.
Good eco nonetheless, but it is getting dangerously close here. Hellraisers had a great round, but not good enough, and they need to win rounds right now. They need to close this one out before the momentum gets too big for Space Soldiers. And hopefully this is going to be a buy for them. I'm pretty sure they're going to have enough money to buy whatever they need on that CT side. And almost, we do see 1 farmhouse coming in from Stico and some utility missing on 1 or 2 players. But apart from that, it is the buy that Hellraisers want and the buy that they need to finish this off. If not, then Space Soldiers have it in their palms, have it in their hands to bring this one into overtime.
The rest of Space Soldiers, again, proceeding over here towards the ramp room. It's been their favorite spot to push. Even I was really iffy about their capability to push into that, but it does sort of work at the end of the day. But certainly taking quite a few losses there is not going to do any favors for them to consistently buy up.
Rule number 1, keep pushing ramp. If rule number 1 fails, just do it again. Just no worries. Just keep pushing.
To sneeze.
So here we go. Standoff between these 2 teams. Round number 28 in map number 1. I said it was going to be an easy one for Hellraisers. The analyst said it was going to be probably easy as well. But Space Soldiers are fighting back with such fierce hope. And here we go, Engine with 1. But Angel and Dead Fox both answering back. And look at that. It's a trade. 2v3 now.
3 still up and running for Space Soldiers, though, and again, it led over to the ramp room and gets them control of the B-bomb site. But the flank coming in early from Bondic, and the bomb is actually still in ramp room right now. Unfortunately, Bondic is not going to press out early enough to be able to take that out, so it still goes into the site. However, That's 2v3, and still, in theory, in the favor of Hellraisers with the low HP players, and that's Xantares. He's gone down, he's been knocked out. Seiko's also made first contact too, and he may just be able to push into the vents here and find one of these kills, forcing Engine out as his teammate pushes in. That's great team play from Hellraisers, and now it goes down the pads to once again save it, but his first kill works. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out. We see the trade roll in, and 16-12 is going to be the final scoreline here on map number 1. Hellraisers take it. Here, golly gee. What a close one it was.
Incredibly close one, incredibly entertaining, and this is just like another picture of the CS we've seen so far this tournament. Every time we say, oh yeah, this is probably going to be the map choice of Hellraisers, they're just going to rinse them. They start off incredibly well, but somehow, some way, the other team just always returns and bring us these close games.
Hellraisers, or apologies, the Space Soldiers don't necessarily look happy there as we took a look at some of their players. They were on the bounce of a comeback. They almost pulled it off, but falling just a little bit short there towards the end. But still plenty of action to come here as we go over to Cobblestone next. We go over to their map pick, where quite a few of the analysts, including you, seem to think that they have a chance now to take control there.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, no, you thought they were going to 2-0 it. So
yeah, definitely. So it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
You think that.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Long days.
But yeah, it's going to be incredibly interesting going over to Cobblestone, because both of these teams are so incredibly strong on that map. And if we have anything to go by seeing at Nuke, it's probably going to be closest again. So this is just, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, basically.
All right, so an interesting map, an interesting game overall. Let's bring the analysts back into the conversation now. Alex, what are our thoughts on that map?
Well, it's an intriguing one, isn't it, Blue? We seem to be seeing good T-sides on Nuke now. It's kind of boggling the mind. I don't know. I mean, these guys can perhaps explain it better. T-side Nuke, what on earth?
Well, it's more of a map. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people have been too quick to judge that map and just labeled it as a CT setup map, which it still is. But when you say Nuke CT setup map, you'll automatically think like massive CT halves. Sure. I think, you know, with further development from teams on that map, it's going to end up being like a 9-6, 8-7 map actually.
It's always a cat and mouse game when it comes to the strategy setups for both sides. Actually, you know, once the T's figure out a way how to exploit certain way of defending, then you know CTs come up with another way to defend that attack and so forth. Definitely well played by Hellraisers on the T side. Outside, they definitely exploited the catwalk. Bondig and Angel doing a massive job, and that was the way they managed to convert a lot of those rounds.
Yeah, it was awesome stuff. I think awesome stuff from you two as well. Thanks, boys. I'll continue to talk with these guys without your presence. It was Blue and Risk guiding you through Nuke.
Yeah, get wrecked.
They need a slice of orange and a cup of tea, I think, before they jump into the next map. It's a half-time traditional snack. But, okay. To put it into perspective, Space Soldiers losing Hellraiser's map pick is by no means the end of the line or the road. This was kind of almost anticipated by everyone on the desk, right? So do we start taking some positives away from this one? They actually seem to put up a relatively solid fight when it actually got to their T side. I mean, let's instead look at their defensive start, which was by no means impressive.
No, not the greatest. And again, it comes down to, first off, losing the pistol that's going to put you at a deficit. And especially, this is one of a characteristic mistake that so many CT sides do, even if they've actually played them out quite a bit, and that's they actually invest too much in the second round after losing the pistol. So you end up with a buy round that doesn't give you, this was the second buy round, but the first buy round, you end up in a situation where you don't really have all the utility that you'd like as a CT to stem the tide from the T side. And obviously that, you know, makes, again, the job a lot easier for T's, and you get on a bit of a roll. And that's what we saw here, and Hellraisers took full advantage of it. Other than that, I mean, their CT side, that it's just tough to play, especially when you're not too well drilled on it, because, like you mentioned in the pregame, the fact that the rotation times are very different from what they were on old Nuke, because they closed off one of the vents, so actually getting down to lower and so on is just really tough. And the fact that teams are constantly figuring out new ways to throw, you know, certain Molotovs, certain smokes, certain flashes, especially on the upper pushes. You see, you know, new teams bringing out new stuff all the time. So for Space Soldiers, they're probably not used to a lot of that. So they can, you know, be sitting holding in a position that they figure is, you know, pretty decent, and then all of a sudden they're getting burnt to pieces. Yeah.
I think along with Dust 2, Nuke used to be a map where my teams had the most specific CT setups. We had different kinds for different kind of defaults that our opponents would be throwing at us. So if there was a yard setup, we'd have specific ways of holding yard. We'd have much more investment towards yard. Sure. But in the old version, it was much easier to rotate the lower bomb side. So the problem is right now in Nuke that if you do have a heavy emphasis on yard. You leave upper open. Okay, upper is kind of retakeable, isn't it? But then if you go to lower bomb side, there's only one vent now, and it's really tough to go downstairs, especially if you're down-numbered. Super hard to retake.
It's crazy how much of doing air quotes minor change by removing one of the vents has a huge influence on both the pacing, the structuring of the attack and defense. And it does mean that those rotate times have been extended, or at least made more difficult. But 15 to 10 before it was closed out eventually, despite Xantaras and his best efforts in that 1 versus 2, Space Soldiers could not quite close that gap. So strengths from Hellraisers, I mean, we have to draw surely from the fact that they have got immense structure on their attack, right? Like you criticize, the first words out of your mouth now to Hellraisers need to work on their T sides, and they drop 11 rounds on T side nuke. That's surely a huge step.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's super structured still, but it's like they've found ways of understood like certain fundamentals of how to exploit teams that don't like, because they just haven't figured out kind of the finding the balance between holding yard and holding upper bomb side. So they really did a good job of utilizing that new catwalk we have, something we've always talked about in Analyst Test, that we want to see more teams innovate and use those catwalks better. Yeah,
and I think it's also a bit of an anomaly in the sense that this is probably the map where Hellraisers are the best on the T side. Yeah, they have the best T side out of the other maps. Obviously in terms of how hard the T sides is on the various maps. So this is one of the few maps where they actually have a pretty varied T side, because we often talk about the fact that they do get one-dimensional, but you could see here that they had strategies for both taking control of ramp, as we saw in the pistol and then the first buy round. And same thing goes for just their default, which is small wall of smokes, and then they have variations as to how they want to go about it. If they want to say Angel down alone down secret, or if they want to have a group of guys similar to what NIP used to do, or the eventual Bondic Angel wraparound from Birdwalk.
And Angel's an intriguing name as well, because if we bring up the scores, you'll be seeing exactly why. We highlighted him as being one of those top performers, and again, he does it. The in-game leader, top of the scoreboard. Not necessarily a trend we identified with Godsent. Parallax has been having some trouble, but not Angel alongside Zero.
He's the spearhead of a lot of the defaults they do. He's the one bringing chaos on yard along with Bondic, so I think the number is justified when you get 11 rounds on that T side. It's funny enough on that T side, though, like the rounds that Hellraisers went for and straight off upper execute were the ones where Space Soldiers actually managed to fend off Hellraisers, much thanks to Paz. Multi-kills once again. Really seems like he's like a turret on a bomb site. Manages to always get 2-3 Ks, so that's a huge asset to have.
Don't come to Paz's bomb site. And it's intriguing as well to see out of 23 kills, Xantaras had 18 headshots. That's a high percentage. Don't see that.
With an old school mouse too.
Yeah, until he won one.
That's like that's not even in stocked anymore.
It's been in stock for about 10 years.
Yeah, he's going to all the hardware stores. Like, please.
That was the first optical mouse I ever had in 2001.
I wonder what he's gonna do when that goes bust.
What does he do?
Is it like just frantically scouring eBay or something?
I think no. He's gonna.
I think he's stocked up. I'm pretty sure he has like 30 of those.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, if you're so committed to a piece of hardware that you genuinely have you're using a mouse from 15, 20 years ago. Jeez. Okay. Respect to it.
Can't argue with the results.
Yes.
No.
18 headshots out of 23.
Yeah.
Big stuff from him, but we are going to be starting to progress into our second map. This is where you did start to believe there would be more from Space Soldiers. Cobblestone. I, however, had faith that Hellraisers were going to stand vigilant because of some of the success that they have had, and I know that multiple analysts, actually, I know Henry G is a real advocate for the way Hellraisers structure some of their defensive setups on Cobblestone. I know you actually quite critical. What is it that you have a problem with Hellraisers'
I mean, it's about leaving room. I mean, basically letting
too much room?
Yeah, basically letting your opponents be getting too close to the bomb site, so that puts you into a lot of pressure once they're actually coming in instead of intervening, which is kind of controversial to the general way of thinking for Hellraisers, where they're the ones that usually do want to be the aggressors. So especially that applies for the B bomb site.
Yeah, and I definitely have to agree with that. And in addition to that, for me, it becomes quite one-dimensional with how they play their CT sides, at least towards the B bomb site, and that should be very exploitable for a lot of their opponents if they just had looked into Hellraisers and how they play Cobble most of the time.
Yeah.
And we see it time and time again. And when they're unpunished and nobody actually necessarily takes notice of it, then they do great, understandably so, because there is like a lot of thought put into their various setups, and you can tell that they have ideas for how they want to play it, especially when Stico gets into, or Zero for that matter, gets into that corner. But
it's an easy mistake to make, to be fair.
Well, both of them use the position. When they get into that back corner and B plat, so you can see that someone else on the Hellraiser side is just ready with a pop flash for them, you know, at a certain point in time off of a sound cue or anything like that. So they, you know, they have measures in hand for all of their setups. But to me, they kind of go back to their default a bit too often, to the point where T-sides can definitely take advantage of it. Okay,
I'm intrigued to know if Space Soldiers can do it. We actually have a question from the community as well as questions I've been throwing at you, so let's bring that up. It's a new name. It's All Day Peterson. He says, do the EU minor teams have what it takes to be in the top 10? Good grief.
Jeez.
Okay, so All Day Peterson is asking a rather large question here, given that the minor is simply a qualifying opportunity for teams to get to the qualifier for the major.
I love that part.
I mean, no, just to kind of put into perspective how far away the top 10 is. Let's not forget that the major is 16 teams, 8 of which are already locked in from Legends. Admittedly, some perhaps would be arguably not within the top 10.
Let me find my crystal ball.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I've lost it.
You've not got it? Okay.
Yeah, I've lost it, sorry.
That's a huge question. Try and answer that one, Natu. No?
I can put it quickly.
What it takes to be in the top 10. I mean, if you look at the names in these teams, right? I mean, Godson obviously should have that. Like, that's the one name that comes to your mind, because they've been obviously a huge part of the team has been the best team in the world at one point.
But
right?
we talk about on paper not working. In fact, JW himself.
But it's not as easy as that. It's not straightforward. Names are just a part of it. You know, it's like on HLTV, people are always putting their dream teams lineups together. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You know, the chemistry is a massive part of it, and the stars need to align the right way too for your teams to succeed.
And given that our game currently, I mean, CS:GO is so volatile. So many, like, a different team has won every single major event, over 250,000.
Yeah, it was like 6 different teams have won the last 6 big tournaments. And I was talking to Freeze. He was telling me how, like, because they practice against very much different teams, right? So he said the CS is so even and so hard to, like, before it was kind of clear cut on who you'd play against, practice against, that you'd kind of know what you were getting into. If it was going to be like, you know, not as tough of a practice, but now it seems he said that so many teams are playing so well, so have so much structure and so much individual skill.
Anything to add, Halvor?
To put it short and sweet, no. Yeah. Not right now. No. But obviously, that's everybody has to go through this path, and there's a reason why they're in the minor and not already in the qualifier, to put it that way.
And if you even look at the major qualifier, the likes of G2, NIP, not Fnatic anymore. FaZe. Yeah, exactly. It's scary how many teams are at that competitive level or in that top 10 category. Right? It gets there's a big list.
Yeah. Jeez, it's gonna be
actually the qualifier actually looks almost more scary than the top 8.
And that's what they're battling for here in Bucharest. They are trying to get a ticket to the qualifier that we have just outlined to be terrifying. The biggest major qualifier to date for the major coming up in January. That's actually coming up next month in October. So it's going to be a busy one leading up to that start of 2017. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, it's going to be Cobblestone between Hellraisers and Space Soldiers. Will the Turkish side continue to thrive, or will they fall to the lower bracket? Find out after this.